The wait is finally over. American football is back on our screens, and this Sunday the Cleveland Browns will take the field against their AFC North rival, the Cincinnati Bengals, in what promises to be an explosive divisional showdown. Now, while many in the league are keeping an eye on the Bengals' powerful offense, those who follow the Browns closely know there's more to this matchup than meets the eye. Because if there's one opponent Cleveland has had consistent success against in recent years, it's Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Let's dive into the latest news, so hit the like button and tell me, what are your expectations for this matchup? I want to hear your thoughts. Cleveland holds a 6-4 record against Cincinnati in their last 10 meetings, and Joe Burrow himself is just 3-5 against the Browns. He's acknowledged it. He knows it, and maybe, just maybe, it's in his head. The Bengals enter this season with glaring defensive issues that the Browns are poised to exploit. Let's talk about some cold hard facts. Cincinnati ranked 25th in total defense last season, giving up nearly 350 yards per game. Even more shocking, they were 30th in red zone defense, allowing opponents to score touchdowns nearly 68% of the time when they got inside the 20. And to cap it off, they had the 25th ranked scoring defense, surrendering over 25 points per game. That's a defense begging to be punished, and Joe Flacco, yes, Joe Flacco, is ready to deliver. The veteran gunslinger, who showed flashes of brilliance late last season with Cleveland, still has the arm and the vision to exploit a defense like this. And if the Browns get into the red zone a few times, it's almost a given they'll come away with touchdowns. That's not just optimism, it's math. But this game isn't just about Joe Flacco versus a struggling defense. It's about a player who can tilt the field all by himself, Myles Garrett. Joe Burrow said it best this week, he can win the game if you let him. That's not an exaggeration, folks. That's Burrow admitting that Garrett is a game wrecker. In 12 games against the Bengals, Garrett has racked up 13 sacks, 28 tackles, 113 yards lost on sacks, 3 pass breakups, and 2 forced fumbles. Those are not just stats. Those are nightmares if you're a quarterback in stripes. When a guy like Burrow, an MVP-caliber quarterback, admits that Garrett can single-handedly take over a game, you take that seriously. And Cleveland should feel confident that their star pass rusher is dialed in and ready to feast. Even better news? The Browns are heading into this matchup as healthy as we've seen them in a long time. The only player not practicing as of Wednesday was rookie defensive lineman Mike Hall Jr. Everyone else? Ramping up. Ethan Posick, Cedric Tillman, Denzel Ward, Shelby Harris, and even Mahmoud Diabate, all practicing. That's depth. That's strength. That's momentum. Denzel Ward's return is especially huge given that he's one of the few corners in the NFL who can go toe-to-toe with Jamar Chase. And they'll need him, because Chase is coming off a monstrous season, over 1,700 yards and 17 touchdowns. But if anyone can slow him down, it's Ward. He's not just talented, he's familiar. He knows Chase. He knows this matchup. And Cleveland's going to need every bit of that edge. Now let's talk about trends. Under head coach Zach Taylor, the Bengals have been consistently sluggish out of the gate. In weeks 1 and 2, they've averaged just 18.6 points per game, ranked 25th in the league. Turnover differential? -9, 28th in the NFL. Yards per play? Just 4.6. Only one team was worse. And their red zone touchdown percentage? A dismal 45%, ranking 31st. This isn't a small sample size. It's a pattern. And that pattern plays directly into the Browns' hands. Cleveland, for once, isn't limping into the season opener. They're healthy. They're confident. And they have 3 clear paths to victory. First, don't give up 30 points. Seems obvious, but remember, Burrow and Chase can put up points in a hurry. If the Browns' defense shows up, they can control the tempo. Second, protect the football. Joe Flacco's deep ball bravado is thrilling, but he's also turnover prone. Last season, in just 8 games with the Colts, he threw 7 picks and took 18 sacks. Add that to the 8 interceptions he tossed during his time with Cleveland in 2023, and you've got a risk that needs managing. But if Flacco plays clean, Cleveland's defense can do the rest. And third, win the trenches. The Bengals' one real defensive threat is Trey Hendrickson, last year's sack leader. He's a problem, no doubt. But if the Browns' O-line can keep him in check, the rest of Cincinnati's defense is ripe for the taking. Let Flacco operate with time. Let Jerome Ford and rookie Sampson get their lanes. Control the clock. Move the chains. And here's where it gets real. I'm calling the upset. Browns 23, Bengals 17. Cincinnati starts slow. Cleveland starts strong. Garrett gets home. Flacco plays it smart. The crowd at Cleveland Browns Stadium gets loud. And the Browns leave with a win to start their season. So what do you think? Are the Browns going to shock the Bengals once again, or will Cincinnati finally break the cycle? Drop your thoughts below. Because if history tells us anything, it's that momentum in Week 1 can set the tone for the rest of the season. And for the Browns, this isn't just about a rivalry game or beating Joe Burrow again, it's about making a statement. A healthy roster, a seasoned quarterback, a defensive player of the year candidate, and a fan base starving for success, everything is aligning for this team to punch first and punch hard. Now let's dive deeper into those trenches. Trey Hendrickson may be the Bengals' only serious defensive weapon, but he's not to be underestimated. He's coming off a career year, league-leading in sacks, 19 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. But the good news? The Browns' offensive line is built for this. With Ethan Posick trending toward starting at center and guys like Cornelius Lucas providing additional depth, Flacco should have the time he needs in the pocket. And that time is everything. Because when Flacco has time, he finds guys like Cedric Tillman, who looks ready to step into a bigger role, especially with his injury now behind him. A healthy thumb, full practice reps, and that big play potential, we might see him stretch the field early and often. And let's not forget the run game. With Jerome Ford leading the way and rookie Sampson backing him up, this backfield has speed and strength. But they'll need space. They'll need blocking. And again, that's where the offensive line must win their battles. Control the trenches, wear down the Bengals' defense, and you open up the play-action game. That's where Flacco thrives. You give him that extra second, and he can still thread the needle like it's 2012. Defensively, aside from Garrett, Cleveland's unit looks poised to cause problems. Shelby Harris is practicing, and that adds more firepower to the defensive front. If Mike Hall Jr. is the only one sidelined, that's a massive win from a health standpoint. The Browns have been plagued by the injury bug in recent years, and to open Week 1 with nearly a full squad, that's rare. That's opportunity knocking. Zach Taylor's early season coaching woes? Still a factor. There's just something about his game plans in September that don't click. And when your defense ranks near the bottom of every meaningful stat and your offense needs a couple games to warm up, that's a recipe for an upset. So as kickoff approaches, one thing feels clear, the Browns are in the perfect position to take control of this game. No one's saying it'll be easy. Burrow is still Burrow. Jamar Chase is still elite. But when you factor in the Browns' defensive firepower, the offensive line's potential, and Flacco's ability to capitalize on a weak secondary, the path to victory is right there. And if Cleveland does walk out 1-0, this could be the kind of win that flips the narrative. That puts them on the map early. That builds confidence inside the locker room and sends a message to the rest of the AFC North. The Browns are not here to be pushed around. If you believe this team is ready to make that leap, don't just watch, be part of it. Subscribe, hit that like button, and make sure you're tuned in every week. The biggest Browns updates? You're only getting them right here. And don't forget, click the video on your screen now to keep the hype going. Let's go Browns Nation!